Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today is going to be another transfer rumour roundup video, and you guys really seem to enjoy the last video, so I thought I would bring another one to you guys today. And since the last video actually, we have a lot of transfer rumours which have actually come through, and we've got quite a few completed transfers to go ahead and talk over as well. So what I would love to know is, what do you think of all of these transfer rumours, and who are you still hoping your club will sign in this window? Also as well, there might be some transfer rumours which I've left out in this video. If you have seen someone being linked to your club, let me know down below. I'm always very interested to hear what you guys have to say. And make sure you do leave a like on the video if you do go on to enjoy it. It is always massively appreciated. But without further ado, let's get into talking about some of the completed transfers. So since I did make the last transfer video, we have seen Colin Patterson complete his transfer to Cardiff. Now, Cardiff are a team who's actually been linked with quite a few players recently and looks to be having quite a busy transfer window. So next season for Cardiff could be very interesting. But in terms of Colin Patterson, he's a right back who's coming from the Scottish League, and I actually think he's a very good acquisition for a team like Cardiff. Last season he was linked heavily with a move to Derby County in January, however that never materialised due to him picking up an injury. So the fact that Cardiff have gone out and got him in this transfer window, I think he'll be an excellent signing for them. Norwich have also been a side who has been very busy in the transfer window so far. We've already seen them complete one signing in our last video in Marley Watkins, and now they have completed a further two signings in Mario Vrancic, I think that's how you say it, and also Angus Gunn as well. So talking about Mario Vrancic first, he's coming over from the Bundesliga, a central midfielder I believe. Last season in the Bundesliga he managed to score 4 goals and get 2 assists, so I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know much about this guy, but obviously Norwich have been scouting him and they've obviously seen enough in him to bring him into the club, so he could be a bit of a gem coming in from the Bundesliga. We've also seen Angus Gunn come in from Manchester City on a season-long loan, which is quite an interesting move actually. From what I've seen of Angus Gunn, I think he's a very good goalkeeper. I think Norwich have done well there to get him on loan. You know, last season the goalkeeping situation with Norwich was a bit here and there. You know, they were playing Michael McGovern for quite a bit, they were playing John Ruddy. Neither of them was really able to have a great season and nail down that #1 spot, so getting Angus Gunn in I think will be a good deal for them. And we've also seen Derby County complete the transfer for Curtis Davis from Hull City. Of course, he's getting on a bit now with his age, but I think being capable, I think he is a good signing for them. He's cost them relatively a low amount. I think it was only $500,000 that Curtis Davis cost them, and Derby were in need of a centre-back, so to bring in a player with his experience, if he is able to stay injury-free, that could be a good addition as well. And before we actually get into some of the transfer rumours going on, we have a manager rumour which has been going on for quite a while now, and that is of course regarding Gary Monk. Now, it is looking increasingly likely like he will take up the Middlesbrough manager role in the next few days, really. I mean, it's been linked ever since he did leave Leeds. He was sort of like the nailed-on favourite to go ahead and get the Middlesbrough job, so that'll be a very interesting one if he does. But of course, the sooner they manage to do that, the better, because then they'll be able to get on with the rest of their transfer window. They won't want it to drag on for all too long, but it's looking at the moment like Monk could be going to Middlesbrough. Leeds fans, let me know what you think of that down below. But without further ado, let's get into some of the transfer rumours. So the first one that we have to talk about was Andy Lonergan, who could be making a move from Wolves back to Preston. Of course, he used to play for Preston back in the day. I think he left Preston in about 2011 and he's been at a catalogue of other clubs since. So Preston are in need of a goalkeeper, probably going to be a #2 behind Chris Maxwell. And Andy Lonergan, would I like to see Lonergan come back to Preston? I'm not sure really. I think he had a couple of really good seasons with Preston, but since then I don't really think there's too much room in football for sentiment and to be bringing in ex-players like Andy Lonergan. As a #2, he might not be that bad, but honestly, I personally want to be looking at other options, because I think that to get the best out of Chris Maxwell next season, he needs a goalkeeper who is at least on par with him to really start pushing him. Because I think last season, possibly it could be said he got a little bit complacent, Chris Maxwell, so he needs someone to be pushing him. I'm just not sure Andy Lonergan will be that guy. Another player who seemingly is being linked to a lot of clubs at the moment is Conor Mahoney of Blackburn Rovers. Now, at the moment, the two front runners in apparently signing him are both Nottingham Forest and Preston North End. Now, this guy would suit their the sort of player that these two clubs are in for at this point in time. He's a young winger coming from Blackburn Rovers. He's only 20 years old, and with seemingly Preston and Forest both investing in youth at this point in time, that's not surprising that he's being linked to these sort of clubs, and I think he will be a very capable player for whoever he does sign for. Another player who is being linked with a couple of clubs at the moment is George Boyd of Burnley, and it's pretty much guaranteed that Boyd is going to be leaving Burnley this summer, but where to, it is yet to be seen. Currently the two clubs being talked about in relation to George Boyd are both Aston Villa and Derby County, and I'm a bit mixed on what I think of George Boyd, really. I think he's he's not your classic winger, you know, he's not that sort of winger who's got like blistering pace and he's got great skills that can go past a man. He's more sort of like a physical guy who will get the ball down and play and can deliver a good set piece or something like that, but currently Derby and Villa are being talked about with him. His last season in the Championship, interestingly enough, he managed to grab 5 goals and 5 assists, so not a staggering return, but he'd be a solid player for them, I suppose. Sheffield United seem to be a side at the moment who seemingly just seem to be linked with absolutely everyone under the sun, and another player coming out who is currently being linked with a move to Sheffield United is Nick Blackmun from Derby County, of course. Ever since Blackburn has signed for Derby, it's not really worked out for him. He only managed to score 1 goal in the league last season, which is a disappointment, really, considering he was coming from Reading, where in the previous season he managed to net 11 goals before signing for Derby. That's a disappointing return from him, so if a team like Sheffield United could get the best out of him, there is no doubt a good player in there. It's just not worked out for him at Derby. And then to a transfer which looks to be seemingly over the line at this point in time, that is Danny Ward, who is looking to be going to Cardiff. It could already be completed by the time you guys are watching this one, but of course, played for Rotherham last season. It looks like he will be on the move to Cardiff in this summer transfer window. Last season, he managed to grab 10 goals for the struggling Rotherham side, so of course, he will have worked with Neil Warnock at Rotherham, so you can see that connection as to why he is going in for that sort of player. And if he does get the right service around him, I think Danny Ward could be a good striker in the Championship, you know. To score 10 goals in a side who finished rock bottom of the Championship, that's a pretty good return in my opinion. And then Derby County have also been linked with another centre-back in this transfer window, at that time being Grant Hanley of Newcastle United. However, with Curtis Davis now going to Derby, this move is looking increasingly unlikely. Another young talent who could be on the move in this transfer window is Emi Hughes. Currently the sides being talked about in relation to him are Ipswich Town, Wolves and Bristol City, of course. A very young central midfielder with a very bright future ahead of him, in my opinion, and I think he'd be an asset to any of those sides, really, because like I said, he is very good on the ball and a very good player to grow into and to perhaps build a side around. And then to a transfer which has got a lot of people talking at this point in time, that is the transfer of Jackson Irvine. Now, understandably so, there are a lot of Championship clubs who are in for this guy, of course. He was Burton Albion's talisman last season, really, and was a huge reason in why they actually avoided the drop last season. They're probably their player of the season. He managed to grab 10 goals for them from central midfield, so that's an incredibly good return for a player like Jackson Irvine playing in that Burton Albion side, of course. They'll want to do absolutely everything they can to keep hold of him, but honestly, I would be very surprised if Burton do still have Jackson Irvine come the first game of the season. Currently, the sides being talked about in interest of Jackson Irvine are Sheffield Wednesday, Aston Villa, Derby County, Wolves and Fulham are all reportedly interested in Jackson Irvine. So that's going to be very interesting. Let me know, out of all those clubs, who do you think he is most likely to go for? And if you do support any of those clubs, would you like to see Jackson Irvine come in? Let me know down below. And then to another transfer which really did actually caught my eye, we have Wolves, who are actually interested in going in for BEBE. And I'm sure all of you guys will remember BEBE from his time at Manchester United. Things really didn't work out for him there, but he has gone back to La Liga and seemingly got his career back on track, and that could have granted him a move to Wolves in the Championship. Currently, of course, with Nuno being their new manager, it's yet to be seen what sort of transfer targets he is going to go in for over the course of the transfer window, but if this is anything to go by, he could be looking to go for more players in La Liga or more Portuguese players. It's yet to be seen, of course, but last season in La Liga, BEBE did only manage to score 3 goals in La Liga, so not the greatest return. However, he didn't really really play the greatest amount of games either, so it would be a little bit of a risk. Wolves fans, let me know down below if you do want to take that risk of going in for BEBE. I believe he costs in the region of £1 to £2 million, so let me know down below what you would think of that. And then the final transfer of this transfer rumour video is going to be MCGEADY, who is still being linked with a move to Preston North End, and honestly, I just pray this one comes true. According to the Liverpool Echo, a fee has been agreed of £2 million for MCGEADY, which I think, honestly, I do think it's worth it. I think for a club like Preston, if we are going to invest £2 million into anywhere else, I don't think we'll be able to get anyone better for that amount of money than how good MCGEADY is for Preston, really. That's just my opinion, but of course the only diminishing factor of this story is his age. He is 31 years old, which is a little bit disappointing, as we're probably only going to be able to get 1, 2, at a push 3 seasons out of MCGEADY, and to be paying £2 million, which will, I think, be a record fee for Preston, it's a little bit of a gamble. Of course, we're going to need him to stay injury-free, but from what he showed last season, I think he'd be a phenomenal signing for Preston. So guys, there are all the transfer rumours which are currently going around the Championship. So let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of all these transfer rumours? I'll be very interested to know. But apart from that, guys, that will now wrap it up for this video. So if you have enjoyed, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you drop me a follow on Twitter, as I always tweet before I upload a video. Therefore, you'll never miss a video ever again, guys. As well as that, make sure you subscribe for regular Championship content. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.